origin of suffering, the noble truth of the cessation of suffering, the noble truth of the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Therefore, monks, an exertion should be made to understand this is suffering, this is the origin of suffering, this is cessation of suffering, this is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So here, actually what the Buddha means, I think, is that if a person does not understand the Dhamma and does not have right view, he has wrong view, that leads him to rebirth in the animal realm and the hell realm. And these two realms, once you go down to the animal realm and the hell realm, you'll be there for a very, very long time. So the Buddha says, the one who goes to the woeful plains of rebirth is a fool. Actually, when we have the human body and we don't make use of it and we waste our life, we are really a fool. Then when you lose the human body, then you want to recover the human body, it's very, very hard. That's why you see sometimes some people, they go into a trance and they invite the spirit into their body. The ghost will quickly come and enter their body. Some people think it's a deva or something, but most of the time it's the ghost. Because the ghost is suffering in the ghost realm, and then he remembers, last time when I was a human being, life was so good, so you invite him to your body, quickly he'll come. And some of them also, they come because they realize that they did not do enough merit. That's why they are born in the ghost realm, so they want to have the chance to do merit, and they come into the human body. So this sutta is very striking, giving us very strong warning that if we lead a foolish life, then we will find very difficult to get back this human form. And then the Buddha said, monks, suppose that this great earth had become one mass of water, and a man would throw a yoke with a single hole upon it. An easterly wind would drive it westward, a westerly wind would drive it eastward, a northerly wind would drive it southward, a southerly wind would drive it northward. There was a blind turtle who would come to the surface once every 100 years. What do you think, monks? Would that blind turtle coming to the surface once every 100 years insert its neck into that yoke with a single hole? It would be by chance, Venerable Sir, that blind turtle coming to the surface once every 100 years would insert its neck into that yoke with a single hole. So too, monks, it is by chance that one obtains the human state or the human body. It is by chance that a Tathagata, an Arhan, a perfectly enlightened one, arises in the world. It is by chance that the Dhamma Vinaya proclaimed by the Tathagata shines in the world. You have obtained that human state, monks. The Tathagata and Arahant Sammasambuddha has arisen in the world. The Dhamma Vinaya proclaimed by the Tathagata shines in the world. Therefore, monks, an exertion should be made to understand this is suffering, this is the origin of suffering, this is cessation of suffering, this is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So here is another warning by the Buddha that it's so difficult to attain the human body. Now we have it. So difficult for an Arahant, Sammasambuddha to arise in the world. Now we have it. So difficult for the Dhamma Vinaya to shine in the world. Now also, all the three perfect conditions we have. And if we don't make use of it, we are a real fool, and we have to suffer for being a fool. So, you just imagine, the Buddha came into this world, and now 2,500 years later, the Dhamma is still with us. How long it's going to last, we don't know. It's not going to last very long. Another few more thousand years, and it would have disappeared. And yet, this world, how long is this world? This earth, scientists say, is at least 5 billion years old. And 5 billion years old inside there, for a short period, the light of the Dhamma appears in the world, shines in the world, only for a short time. You don't grab the opportunity, then you'll be reborn in the darkness again. The ignorance of the Dhamma is the darkness. So this opportunity that has come to us is so rare. just like the turtle coming up once in 100 years to put its neck through that hole in the yolk. Such a rare opportunity. In a similar way, this rare chance, we have already, the chance has come to us. Whether we make use of it or not is entirely up to us. So the Buddha says, that's the difference between the wise man and the fool. We read in the earlier sutta. The wise man is the one who practices the holy path. The fool is the one who ignores the holy path. 56.51 is another famous sutta. Then the Blessed One took up a little bit of soil in his fingernail and addressed the monks. The Buddha took the soil on his fingernail like that, at the tip of his fingernail, just holding up a bit like that. Monks, what do you think which is more, the little bit of soil that I have taken up in my fingernail, or this great earth? And they said, Venerable Sir, that great earth is more. The little bit of soil that the Blessed One has taken up in his fingernail is trifling. Compared to the great earth, that little bit of soil is not calculable, does not bear comparison, does not amount even to a fraction. And the Buddha said, so too monks, for a noble disciple, a person accomplished in view, that means with right view, who has made the breakthrough, the suffering that has been destroyed and eliminated is more, while that which remains is trifling. Compared to the former mass of suffering that has been destroyed and eliminated, the latter is not calculable, does not bear comparison, does not amount even to a fraction, as there is a maximum of 7 more lives. He is one who understands as it really is. This is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is the cessation of suffering. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. Therefore, monks, an exertion should be made to understand this is suffering. This is the origin of suffering. This is cessation of suffering. This is the way leading to the cessation of suffering. So this sutta is telling us that if we attain right view, we have made the breakthrough. And once you attain right view, the suffering that you have left in existence is so little compared to the former suffering that you put behind you. Or you can say the suffering that you have left after attaining right view is so little compared to your friend who has not attained right view. The guy who has not attained right view, he will turn in samsara for countless lifetimes some more. So the Buddha says also once you have right view, there is a maximum of 7 more lifetimes for you. Here is very clear. Maximum of 7 more lifetimes. You will only be reborn 7 more lifetimes, maximum. That is, even if you don't make any effort, 7 more. If you make some effort, it will be shorter still. But once you have become Arya with right view, as I mentioned, you can take a slow boat out of samsara because you'll have a good life. You'll either be reborn in heaven or as a human being. And each time you come back as a human or a heavenly being, you have these 4 things. The other day, Ayuvano Sukhang Balang, long life, beauty, happiness, and power or strength. So, therefore, the Buddha always says we should exert ourselves to understand the 4 noble truths. And basically, to understand the 4 noble truths is to study suttas like this in the Samyutta Nikaya. In fact, out of all the 5 Nikayas, to me, this is the most important Nikaya. All the important teachings are inside here. Is there any more sutta? I think that's the end of the suttas that I want to read in this last chapter. So we have come to the end of the Samyutta Nikaya. It took us about 2 months. I think it was very good. All the important suttas in this Samyutta Nikaya, I believe we have gone through. Those that we did not go through are not so important. Sometimes they were repetitions, the meaning was not so important. So I'll just recap the 5 books that we went through in the Samyutta Nikaya. We look at page 7 in the beginning, the general contents. The first book is the Sagata Vaga. Sagata means Sa is with, Gata is verses. So it is suttas accompanied by verses. So the first book, you find all the suttas. At the end of the suttas, you had verses. And this first book, there were 11 chapters. And out of these 11 chapters, the important ones would be like Kosala Sangyutta, concerning the Pasanadi king. Some good Dharma was there. And then the Brahma Sangyutta, this concerning the Brahma Devas. We found that some of the Brahma Devas had an affinity with the Buddha from the past life. The Buddha went to them mostly because some of them were his former teachers, and out of gratitude he went to teach them. Then the Brahmana Sutta was quite interesting. Those Brahmins who argued with the Buddha, and when they were converted by the Buddha, some of them so quickly renounced and became monks. And then Sacca Sangyutta also was quite interesting. Sacca Devaraja was an interesting Deva with a lot of good qualities. Then the second book, Nidana Vaga. Nidana means causation, that means dependent origination. This is a very important topic. We went through this 12th chapter. We went through in quite detail. Let me see. I remember it took many days to go through that. 1, 2, 3, 6 days. We spent 6 nights on this Nidana Sangyutta, one of the longest times we spent. So this Nidana Sangyutta was very important. And then inside the second book, the Labha Sakara Sangyutta was also very important for monks, on the dangers of gains and honors, fame, offerings and fame, how it can corrupt a monk. And then the Upama Sangyutta, number 20, that was very important. Some very good similes were given in this chapter. And the third book was the Khandha Vaga we went through. Khandha is the aggregates. So this is the chapter on the 5 aggregates of attachment. This is also an extremely important topic because if you want to understand non-self, it's very important to understand the 5 aggregates as not self or non-self. And this chapter 22, we also spent quite a number of days. We also spent about 6 days, 6 nights discussing this chapter 22, Khandha Sangyutta. And then the other chapters in this book are not so important. This is the outstanding chapter in this third book. I remember we mentioned that it took a huge part of the book. Then the fourth book we went through was Salayatana Vaga. Salayatana means the 6 sense basis. This is another very important topic. In fact, these 3 are the main topics that we should understand if we want to see not self, no self. It's the dependent origination, the 5 aggregates, and the 6 sense basis. So this chapter 35, we spent also many days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We spent 7 days. We spent 7 days discussing this Salayatana Sangyutta. And then